Free speech on Canadian university campuses may be a cynical topic for most, but really should it be? Hello, my name is Leah Mushet. I'm a reporter here at the Western Standard, and I sat down with Michael Harris, a student at University of Calgary and the director of Every Citizen's a King Society, a free speech student-run club, who also ran in the Battle River-Crowfoot by-election this past August. He tells me why people shouldn't be so cynical about free speech on campus.
And so, like, why do you think this is such like an important issue for students to get involved about? And also, why do you think it's important for especially Canada to be involved about?
Yeah. Well, first, number one, I don't just run the Every Citizen a King Society. There has been a big problem as of late on campus where people feel like they're not being heard or they're being censored by our staff or by other clubs on campus. And so originally back in 2023, there were barely any groups that actually championed the idea of freedom of speech on our campus. We had a couple of groups. We had a group like Generation Screwed, which is a youth group allied with the Taxpayer Federation. There was a small contingent of Students for Liberty that were on our campus, and there were a couple of free speech organizations that never really went off the table. I saw that there was something that needed to be done. There needed someone to be ahead to organize a lot of this stuff, and I decided, why not just not only make my own organization that I could run more directly, but also work in tandem with these different groups. And so we have something called the Liberty Pact, as I like to call it, where we have all these groups that were existing on campus together. Like I said, Generation Screwed, Students for Liberty, and now my organization, the Every Citizen a King Society, working in tandem to push freedom of speech. Now, why, of course, we've wanted to do this is because of the fact that campus has not been nice to the political culture, unfortunately. As a previous student yourself, you might have seen this, where if you're in a group where a professor doesn't agree with what you're saying, if another club says something that you don't agree with, they don't, sorry, excuse me, if they don't agree with, or if, even a random person doesn't agree with, it's built on a base of hostility, not of tolerance or wanting to work together or hear another person's opinion out. It's the classic idea of sports teams, There's my person and then there's your person. And if we're not on the same team, I'm going to hate you. And I didn't like that because I believe that brings us more to extremism, the issues that we dealt with in the 1930s, where we saw each other as enemies and not as friends or people that we can work together to build a better future. And so the general idea of the Every Citizen a King Society is to bring every person, every group of people together to talk about the issues of the day, to have open mic events, and so people can actually hear the other side without getting hostile with each other. And I would say over the last 2 or 3 years that we've been around, we've been decently successful in this regard. We haven't had any fights at any of our pub nights yet. But the general idea, we bring people together to a pub, we give you some free food, some free dinner, so people are relaxed, people are more chill. It's a more friendly environment, and have an open mic event where everybody gets an equal time going around and speaking. Sometimes we've had the pleasure to host debates. We've had all three UFC political clubs to come together and actually have a debate night, which is rare considering that has never actually happened at the university campus before. So it is a big deal, and it's also one of the reasons why I'm actually a pretty big fan of Charlie Kirk, because what he was doing and, going to campuses and having open mic events like he was doing is what we are trying to accomplish here in Alberta. We've been pretty successful that we've actually been able to push outside of the University of Calgary campus now, where we have around 17 chapters across Canada, predominantly here in Alberta, obviously. So SAIT, MRU, U of C are our three biggest universities, but we're also in Simon Fraser University, UVic, VIU, and also in Waterloo. So those are our biggest groups, and we're going to keep pushing for the next couple of years, hopefully, to balance out this now shifting away from, positive, tolerance of each other and less of the violence that seems like a lot of people are talking about these days.
Hmm. Wow, that's cool. I was gonna also ask you on that point, since you said you had, sorry, how many chapters did you say you have now?
17 at this current moment.
Okay. So how did that happen? Like, was this a recent expansion or has this been drawn out for like quite a few years? Like, yeah.
It's been drawn out for the last 3 years. There's been a lot of changes over the last 3 years. Most of the time, it's just working in tandem with other libertarian-based organizations. Like if Students for Liberty, as an example, has a chapter in a university, I'm gonna know the person. I'm gonna work with them very directly. A lot of those people are my friends. They see what I'm doing here on campus, and they want to emulate that success on their own campus, and so they make their own chapter. That's usually how it goes. And so the expansion comes as either people that are in my organization know people, or if I know people, it keeps going from there. I've actually been very lucky recently, ever since the end of my election in Battle River-Crowfoot, that I'm actually finally getting people who reach out to me instead of the other way around, which has obviously helped us expand and go farther across Canada than had we had before, where I had to, bug or harass people to get on it.
Hmm. Wow, that's cool. Okay, well, my next question would definitely be about the Battle River Crowfoot since you were running. That's pretty like I think that's pretty impressive for a student to because you're still a student there, right? At U.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Unfortunately, I'll probably be stuck here for the next 5 years knowing me.
Oh, okay, well, but like that's still pretty impressive. And so relating back to like freedom of speech, I feel like I definitely think lots of students, even if they would think of doing something like what you did, which is run, maybe they would be afraid to do so because of the fact that if they were to express their honest views, maybe they wouldn't be very supported by, say, like their classmates and stuff like that.
No.
So why do you think it's very important to like I don't know, for like students to just like express their own opinions and like, I don't know, have enough courage to do things that they actually want to do, even outside of the university, like
No.
classrooms and stuff like that.
I mean, I've always had the opinion that if someone doesn't step up to do something, something's not going to get done. If you don't see someone doing something, be that person and go and do it. I've seen so many times where, people like to say they want to see a change in something and they don't actually want to put any effort to actually go in and change some things. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a hard uphill battle because we do have a lot of toxicity in politics. I've even myself, when I ran this election, and when I've been doing my stuff on campus, you're going to get people that are going to be disagreeing with you. And because of that climate, like I said, the toxic climate around politics right now, you're going to get people throwing death threats at you. You're going to have people threatening your life. I have to deal with groups like these communist groups on my campus that this is a daily occurrence where people get harassed. And so you have to have somewhat of be strong-willed in politics to be able to handle it. I'm not saying that's what it should be, because it shouldn't be like this at all. We should be able to be tolerant of each other. We should be able to work together. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to run the election. I hoped at the very end of the day, I knew I wasn't going to win. It was a very strong election for Pierre Poilievre, but I wanted to inspire, number one, to inspire people that you do have a voice. Go out there and speak. If you have the ability to work, put in the effort, and actually speak to your neighbors and push towards what you actually want to see, you can achieve it. There's no one stopping you other than yourself, pushing yourself away from it. And at the end of the day, you shouldn't let these people push you around and say you can't do this, because at the end of the day it's because, well, especially with these communist groups, they're just afraid of opposition. They don't want you to succeed because they don't want what you want to see happen to happen. And so really you got to really fight for what you truly care about at the end of the day, whether it be your local community running an election and making sure their voices are heard, or working in a club and talking to your fellow students, or just simply having a conversation with your friends. You shouldn't have to be afraid. And it comes with a lot of courage, unfortunately. And I'm hoping society can be a little bit better over the next couple of years here, because if it keeps going in this current rate where we're seeing right now, we're in for a hard time if we can't tolerate each other.
Hmm. Well, also on that note, because you were talking about the communist thing, and I know you did talk to my colleague Jeremy about this as well. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested on that too, because at least from like last year, I don't remember it being that bad. Like, I don't know. Like maybe I was living under a rock or something. But but this year, so like yeah, since you did already elaborate on it, I was also, I don't know if this is true or not because it's like a Reddit thread that I didn't see, but my boyfriend saw and he told me about it. And he was saying that like it's also what's it called? A pyramid scheme? Is it like, do you know anything about that or?
Well, I always made a joke that the pro-capitalist organization on campus does everything for free. We give out food for free. We give out our merch for free. We give out our books for free, which is like, the communist way of doing things because we want to support like a collective identity. Well, the communists on our campus have a tendency to sell everything. If you want like booze or food at an event, well, they'll get it for you, but you have to pay in to go to their events. If you want a book, you have to pay for it. If you have a newspaper, you have to pay for it. Pretty much be prepared to be a capitalist at a communist event if you want to get anything done. And I always found that really funny. I don't know the inner workings on whether or not they have like a pay-as-you-go system once you become a member. There's a couple of clubs that are like that, unfortunately, on our campus. Even the U of C conservatives, or I guess Calgary conservatives now, and then they merged with MRU. They also do that to be able to run in elections and to vote. You also have to pay into it. I'm assuming the communists are probably the same way because they gatekeep a lot of their staff stuff, unfortunately.
Mm, okay. Interesting. Um, okay, it's just because I'm curious as well. Did they like, so what happened? They specifically like targeted you or something like that, like the communist group, or like, yeah, what
Well,
went down?
the communist group has had a long tendency of being, like I say, grifters a lot. They're kind of like what Thomas was doing in our election. A lot of what they do is they do for attention. They know they're a little bit of a smaller group and they want to inflate themselves to make themselves bigger. And they do this by, I would say, harassing their competition. So it's not just me. I've had a couple of clubs that have also been harassed, but me specifically, they believe that me and my group are fascists because we are capitalists or pro-capitalists. And so I've had some members of my organization had people DM them privately saying that they were going to get their teeth kicked in. I've had some people, well, actually, well, it was actually me as well too. But I've also had our posters and some of our events be vandalized. That's a very big thing where we've had their stickers and their memorabilia cover up our stuff when we're trying to do something. So if we have a poster up as an example, or we have a banner up, it can get destroyed or it could get damaged. As of recently, in April of this year, we had one of their members come up to our table and steal stuff off the table. I mean, we give out stuff for free, so I mean, we would have loved to give it to them. But when you have someone just randomly come up to your table, doesn't say anything, grabs as much stuff as he can in his arms and runs away,
Mm,
that it seems like it's an attack, it's
mm,
not actually, you're not interested in what you actually took from me, you're just attacking me. And
mm,
unfortunately, this is our campus culture, unfortunately. And it's not just the communists have been doing this. We also have, unfortunately, a underground fascist clubs that actually do exist on our campus that peddle stuff like eugenics. And they also are against a lot of people on our campus, and they are also harassing people as well. And that has become the campus culture, unfortunately. Some people don't see it because they're not in the political realm or don't engage with these people on a daily basis. But as someone who is, and as someone who's clearly been the victim of being targeted by these people, I almost see this as a daily occurrence. And I see my peers and my colleagues that have also been harassed by many of these people in these groups. I don't know if this is a club sponsored thing that they are doing or if it's the erratic nature of their members. But I know the people that show up to these events, the people that help out with these people, are the ones committing these crimes. And as of recently, their members have also been caught doing a number of illegal things on campus. As of recently, there was a lady who got charged for trespassing after hours.
mm,
Their club then got in and started harassing their phone lines, the staff home like phone lines, to get them to reverse that order, and they did. Unfortunately, the university reversed the criminal charges on the people who broke into the university,
mm,
and so this has become an issue now. Where are we allowing authoritarians to commit crimes as long as they have enough pressure to give to staff? That's what we're worried about. And how long until, well, it gets pushed further and further. Like how far are they going to push this, guys? Where it goes from a simple trespassing, issue and into, like, I don't know, complete vandalism. Like if they come in and destroy school property, as an example, how far are they going to push it? And that's what that's what we're worried about currently.
mm. Wow. I didn't even know like eugenics club.
Yeah.
What?
So there is a club that has existed for the last 4 years called the European Heritage Club on our campus. It sounds innocent enough. They're just wanting to support like European heritage. However, I can only describe it as a group of Discord Redditors, the best way that I can possibly describe it, that they think they're funny by supporting people like Nick Fuentes and stuff like that, and they think they're like, I don't know, based or whatever, what the words they use. But usually they use it as an excuse to harass students on campus. They use it to harass the Jewish students on campus. And they also make a couple of newsletters that they like to post on people's papers on their bulletin board in specifically targeting people as an example,
Hmm.
saying I don't know, they publish stuff all the time that's like I'd have to get it. I have stuff saved in our office, but like posters, they put posters on top of each other explaining why like don't join this group because they're inferior or some things. So there's some crazy stuff going on our campus, unfortunately. And I've tried my best because like we run anti-authoritarian campaigns on campus to try to expose what they're doing, bring it to light because people don't know about what's happening. And then hopefully we can get the SU, which unfortunately controls a lot of stuff, our student union, to hopefully get these guys at the bare minimum not only banned, but hopefully to stop them from being allowed to be part of our political campus culture because they're allowed to table, first to number one. They're allowed to use the facilities like other clubs. They're also allowed to book rooms and they're allowed to use the school facilities, unfortunately, to peddle their message. And considering their messages, both the communists and the fascists on our campus are promoting violence, whether it be the RCP promoting violent revolution or the fascists are actively harassing students because of the color of their skin, we need to put an end to this. And I'm going to do this by any means necessary, whether it be harassing the SU to get stuff done, or we're hoping we can push some people and some candidates next year in the SU election that they can actually get some stuff done.
Okay, interesting. Well, I also wanted to ask you because related to this, I did an article. It was about a report by the Fraser Institute who like surveyed university students in Canada basically.
Hmm.
And it was talking about how like so say you're a right-leaning student according to their definition, which they give. They said like 74% of right-leaning students were afraid to like express their views in class because they were afraid of like getting a lower grade,
Hmm.
while 53% of left-leaning students said like similarly. So like do you think like this is like also maybe one of the reasons you also started the club like because it seems like even in your own classes if you don't say the right opinion you're gonna get like a lower grade and stuff and so yeah, have you experienced it also yourself? Like, have you seen like, say, some of your classmates have to do that, or you also?
So I will say a lot of these professors, at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of professors that are obviously going to be biased. There's going to be a lot of professors that are going to have their own opinions. Though I will say they are good in this angle. Even if they do what you describe, you have to be prepared to defend your argument. There's obviously going to be some professors that are going to be biased either left or right leaning that are going to probably give you a worse remark because that's not what they were taught or that's not what they teach. But most of the time, I've found that the teachers that are like that, usually they'll give you a better mark if you're willing to actually express your opinion properly. And that might sound good. I mean, to someone like me, where I mean, I talk a lot, so I get my opinion across pretty well. If you just write a regular paper, yeah, you might actually suffer because of your opinions sometimes. And this goes both ways. I don't know if I'm allowed to name drop some professors, but specifically against left-wing students, Ian Brody is also a professor that does that on our campus. I love the man. I respect him quite a bit. However, he is argumentative. If you have an opinion that he disagrees with, he will fight you to the end of your days unless you can actually argument or like create your argument properly. And if you don't, your grades are going to suffer for that. And I think that's pretty much the attitude of most professors at the University of Calgary. If you are coming in with a differing opinion, you better be prepared to defend it. And if you're not prepared to defend it, don't say it at all. That's the policy of the University of Calgary from what I've experienced.
Okay, that's a good. I feel like, yeah, I feel like I think I experienced the same. Like, for example, I don't know what his name was, but he taught political philosophy. I don't know if you would know, but
Goldstein?
Yes, Goldstein.
Yes,
But he would like
I
it.
love Goldstein, but he's also very opinionated.
He is, but I heard that he would like it when you would say something that maybe is not what he would think, as long as you're able to defend what you're saying. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. No, and also I think it's a good way to like at least be able to, I don't know, defend your own opinions, like be able to like articulate yourself properly. So
Yeah.
I like your review because it's not super pessimistic, and I
Mm.
definitely think there's still value in like learning
Yeah.
from university. Yeah.
I've seen the worst of it though. I think the suppression of students' opinions comes outside of the classroom because I think they're forced, unfortunately, or fortunately in this case, be more cordial while they're in the classroom as a professor.
Mm.
However, students have noted that outside of the classroom, they can have their opinions suppressed. What does that mean? Student support for events or for students' voices. I mean, I don't know how political you want to get here today, but Israel-Palestine is a very heated political topic on our campus right now. And both sides, unfortunately, have been the victim of student suppression on our campus, where if they want to talk about what, is facing their families or their communities, they're going to find out that they're going to be getting harassed or suppressed, or they're not going to be allowed to talk about their issues. And it's actually become such an issue that Jewish students on our campus don't even feel comfortable talking about their own faith or saying that they are Jewish because they think that they're going to get attacked because of the surge of anti-Zionism on our campus. And it can go both ways as well too. There are some people that are foreign exchange students from Palestine and supposedly from Gaza as well that are on our campus, and they feel that they are also being suppressed, where their protests have been shut down by our school staff, and their events have been not allowed to go through. And so that's why I say I'm non-pessimistic or at least a neutral view of it, because I can see both sides and I can see that, well, maybe in a classroom there might be not suppression as long as you're willing to defend your argument. But if you're willing to defend your argument outside of the classroom, well, you're not even allowed to speak your opinion. And
Mm.
that's actively causing harm to the actual student culture because we're viewing each other as enemies rather than actually allowing each other to speak to each other that hopefully maybe could calm things down a little bit. And that's a big issue because I don't see any professors willing to actually change that, unfortunately.
I when I was like thinking back on like yeah, I definitely think it's more outside of the classroom, but I'm also thinking, do you think at all it has to do with like since like obviously most university students are going to be younger, they're mostly young adults, late teens, early 20s. Maybe it has something to do with like the social aspect. Like you want to
Yeah,
be part of a group. And so maybe it's like it's more tribal in a way. Yeah.
couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell
Okay.
you. I mean, I honestly, some days I find it the opposite. I swear half the students don't actually want to do things nowadays. They just come for the class and then leave, unfortunately. So I
No,
will always argue that we have a dead campus culture, unfortunately.
hasn't it always been that way though? I wonder if
Yeah,
it's
it's never been good, unfortunately. I mean, it's always good in the first 3 weeks at least.
no.
Then that's
Yeah.
work.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then everyone just fizzles out.
Yeah.
hmm Well, thank you again for coming on and yeah, I'll